Hi, Erin. So this is Tia Treisler, Laboratory Director of Cedar Island Marina Research Lab here in Clinton, Connecticut. And I received your questions for a marine biologist. I'm happy to answer them for you. Part of my job is to educate the public on all things ocean. So let's see. Your first question here is, when you meet with people, what are children and adults' general feelings when it comes to marine life? So fortunately, because we live so close to the water, a lot of the people that I interact with and meet are very welcoming and warm towards marine life because we kind of interact with it every day. People who are generally a little further from the coast, it depends when you're talking marine life what animals you're talking about. So if we are saying dolphins, well, people love dolphins. So really, really positive on stuff like that. Our coastal ecology here in Connecticut, I work with a lot of animals like snails and crabs. And when you're dealing with crabs, people are generally quite hesitant. But once I give them a little bit more information, teach them how to handle crabs and some cool facts about them, then they warm up a little bit and become more accepting of these animals. Your next question, do any people ever think that they're scared of the ocean because of dangerous animals? This, I think, happens a lot, and it's because people are misinformed about marine life. So sharks, for example, are not the terrifying monsters that TV and movies will portray them as. Once you're a little bit more educated on these animals and you know how to best keep yourself safe, then they're not so scary. They're just animals after all, so they're not going to, they're not looking for you. A lot of the times they just come across people, and that's how accidents happen. I also think a lot of the fear of the ocean comes from the depths and not knowing what's underneath you, what's swimming around you. That can be a little bit intimidating for a lot of people. What are some of the best ways to preserve our oceans? And that is a fantastic question. I think the first step in preserving our oceans is to keep yourself educated and to educate others. So be knowledgeable about your effects on the environment, not just the ocean, how our use of resources, how that affects everything else. That's a great place to start. Also be mindful of the things you use every day. So single-use plastics, we really need to stop using the single-use plastics. We need to do reusable water bottles, reusable coffee cups, so you're not getting your coffee cup in a plastic cup every day. Grocery bags, produce bags, these things are all really unnecessary. There are healthier, more environmentally friendly alternatives. Let's see, your final question. Finally, do you have any knowledge on needlefish and cone snails? So these animals are typically warm water tropical animals that we don't have here on the Connecticut coast. So my knowledge of them is really, really limited. However, there's a few things I know. The needlefish, for example, they're somewhat dangerous, but their danger really, really is predominantly to fishermen, especially when fishing at night, because these fish are attracted to light. The light can kind of excite them, so they jump onto the boat. And the problem with them jumping onto the boat is that their face, their beak actually is really, really sharp and can cut people or impale them. No, it'll cut, and it can damage your skin. Cone snails, on the other hand, I know a little bit more about, and that's only because they are gastropods, which is one of my favorite type of mollusks. And cone snails are predatory snails, so they eat things like marine worms, fish. They can actually hunt fish and other mollusks, so bivalves, which are things like clams and oysters. They'll eat those. For these quicker moving prey like fish, they actually have a modified tooth that they use as a projectile to shoot at the fish, and that's how they paralyze them, and then they'll eat the fish whole once it's paralyzed. The cone snail's venom, some of them have really, really toxic venom that can actually kill a human. Interesting is that their venom is actually composed of insulin, and the insulin shock, when your body has too much insulin, that is what actually puts you into the paralysis, into shock. So their weaponized venom is by use of insulin. Other than that, I don't think I have too much information on those things. Feel free to ask me any other questions. I really hope this was helpful to you, and thank you so much for reaching out. All right, have a good day.